Welcome to Adventures in Aviators! Hey guys, welcome to Adventures in Aviators. Today we are in the old city of Jerusalem and we are going to talk to you about our experience in the Sea of Galilee.
So we decided to take a tour for this one. We spent all of our nights in Jerusalem, and so we needed to have transportation to get up to the Sea of Galilee. And so we booked through a tour company, and they came and they picked us up in Jerusalem and took us all the way through Tel Aviv, all the way to the Sea of Galilee. We chose to do this because we didn't want to figure out all of the other transportation issues. We could have done it other variety of ways and tried to do it on our own, but we thought this was the easiest and safest and quickest for how we wanted to schedule our time. From when we left Jerusalem to get all the way up to the Sea of Galilee, the Jerusalem to Tel Aviv was about an hour, and then from Tel Aviv was about an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on traffic.
So regardless of who you book through, the odds are that going around the Sea of Galilee, you're going to go to the same places as everybody else. So that being said, we were really thankful that we booked with a little bit of a smaller group. We paid a little bit more to have a small group of about 12 people go as opposed to a big tour bus of 30 to 40. For our experience, we were able to, get into these places early where there was barely anybody there. But by the time we left, there were dozens of people everywhere, and so it really enhanced our experience at these different holy sites. So the first stop that we went to was Nazareth, and this is the home of Mary and Joseph. And so there are two churches here that mark their respective homes and places where they worked and lived. The Church of the Annunciation is where it's built over the cave that Mary's family lived in, and this is where the Archangel Gabriel came and told her that she was going to bear Jesus. So a very special place here.
This was my favorite church of all of the churches that we visited because of how they took history and added their own unique cultural experience. So they asked countries from around the world to show visually in art how they perceived Mary. And it's amazing to see how everybody views Mary similar and different. And it was powerful. It was my favorite church by far.
Yes. Just a short walk away then is Church of St. Joseph, and it's built over a cave area. Tradition states that his family lived and worked. And so from Nazareth, then we drove up, and you were really going to see a ton of places in a very short period of time. Sometimes you just drive past. We drove past the area of Cana, where Jesus performs his first miracle of turning water into wine at a wedding. And so they built a church there as well to mark that place, but it was just a drive-by for us, which was kind of disappointing. On our way to the Church of the Multiplication, where Jesus multiplied the bread loaves and the fish to feed the 5,000 people. And so this is a beautiful area, and they again mark a stone and preserve that where they believe that he laid the fish and did that.
So the next stop on our drive was Capernaum, and Capernaum is where Jesus did most of his ministry. It's where he called many of his disciples. It is a very special site for Christians. And this is also where St. Peter's house was probably as well. The really cool part about this is that this area was built with basalt, and it is black. And then over the years, other white rock was brought in, and so you see the black rock at the bottom and the white built on top. So you can actually see the stone that existed during the time of Jesus' ministry and where he probably lived and worked. It's also right along the Sea of Galilee, so it is a beautiful view. We were able to try the fish that they were probably fishing for at the time there, some sort of a whitefish, and just a really cool place, and it's also an archaeological site as well.
So note that is probably the cost of lunch was not cheap, and it's probably not included in your tour, and it's touristy. They're going to gouge you, so be ready for that. Also in this area, along with kind of the archaeological sites that are Capernaum, it's right next to the sea, which is where Jesus walked on water, and where he pushes out into a boat and teaches the crowds. So I mean, there's just pieces of his ministry all around. We also passed by, although I'm not exactly sure where, the Mount of the Beatitudes, where Jesus gives the Sermon on the Mount. So again, places that you want to, like we've mentioned in our previous videos, prep beforehand. So while we took the biblical tour of Galilee, it was not a Christian-based tour of Galilee. We weren't reading the scriptures as a group. We brought our Bible and we were reading the scriptures that we had planned out in those places. We also had worship music that we were listening to in those places that kind of aligned with the history that we were seeing. And so like our driver, our guide, he knew what these places were, but if I didn't ask about them, he wasn't just going to freely give it up.
After Capernaum, we continued our drive around the Sea of Galilee. We saw where the Jordan River enters the Sea of Galilee, which currently right now their water levels are extremely low. And so it was very small little rivers draining into the sea. And we made our way up and around to where Jesus cast out the demons into pigs, and the pigs ran over the side of the mountain. And then we continued on all the way over to the south end where the Jordan River exits out of the Sea of Galilee, which is most likely where John the Baptist baptized Jesus. A very cool place.
And of course, yes, when you get to see where Jesus was baptized, that's an amazingly powerful experience. And in this place, it allows for other people to be baptized there as well. But again, this is not exactly something that our tour guide trumpeted and said, hey, if you want to get baptized, come here, and this is where Jesus got baptized. And he said, this is the Jordan River. Go look around for half an hour. So just be ready for that, and just know that it's going to be as special as you make it, and you really want to do your due diligence and understand your scripture passages beforehand. And again, we're going to have those all on our website so that if you're touring like us, that you have that as a guide.
So also at the Jordan River, you can pay to get white cloth to go be baptized. And Jason and I, we did not do this. Instead, we stood in the water and we remembered our baptism that way. And then after we left this area, we made our way back down through to Tel Aviv.
As we drove back to Tel Aviv, it was pointed out Mount Tabor, which is where Jesus is transfigured with Moses and Elijah, and there's a church there, Church of the Transfiguration. And so again, there's just history all the way through here, and so definitely have maps ready to go, do your homework and know where some of these things are, and then please ask your tour guide to point these things out to you, because there's just so much biblical history exists in these places.
This concludes our 4-part series on Israel. We hope you learned a little bit. If you have questions, feel free to reach out and ask. We'll tell you what we know. But for Christians, this is an amazing place. There's so much history here, and for Christians, this is where God chose to reveal himself to the world. That's amazing! So we hope that you enjoyed this short little video. If you want to watch more of our videos, you can subscribe down here or check out our website, adventureinaviators.com.
There's, of course, a ton of things that we missed, so please help us out in the comments and point out different areas that people should check out to enhance their experience while in Jerusalem. And, of course, please subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time. For our experience, the Church of the Annunciation. The Church of the Annunciation. Jesus multiplied the bread and the fish loaves. The fish that allows for others. The Church of the
Multiplication.
No, it's not multiplication. We already talked about that one.
No, we talked. No, we didn't.
Transfiguration. There you go. See.